Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Book to Business. I almost forgot which room I was doing then, but I'm here, mentally here as well. I should give you some seconds to get in the room before I start the conversation. We're live. That's more exciting than anything else. Of course, I can see some of you are here. No, I see you. To Leslie, I see you as well. With Team Replay, so you have your weekly live at this time. I understand completely. For many others, I'm sure. And that replay is perfectly fine. When I watch, comment, engage, connect with people in the audience who resonate with you. By going to the event page. So welcome. If you're here, my friends, drop us a comment. Now, let us know you're here. I will know you're here otherwise. On this live streams, we can't see unless you say something. So you join in the room. So of course, amazing to see you all. The link to join the studio is in the comments. So do join us, especially if you have a thought on the topic or something you want to share. You've got experience of doing group writing in a book, then obviously I would love to hear from your thoughts. I think we learn more from you than people learn from me. I'll share some of my experiences, of course. And I guess I have good experience to share because I am the author of the anthology you see behind me, Lessons We Learned from COVID. Where is it? Let me try. Oh, no. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong screen. Let me try again. So that book you see behind me, Lessons We Learned from COVID. That one. Yeah, that one. Just show you a proper copy. It's much easier, right? Okay. So that's the book in real life, Lessons We Learned from COVID-19. It's a beautiful book. Love the cover. You see, it says any Osung and co-authors. That tells you it's an anthology. It's a group book. There are 10 authors in the book altogether, including myself, who've written our stories. So I got very good experience of writing anthologies from that book, first of all. And after that, right now, I'm working on 2 anthologies. One is a health anthology. So I want to tell the stories of people who have experienced or survived life-threatening illnesses. Of course, there's a reason why Eddie does anthologies. Is it the same reason for you? Would an anthology work for you? Have you done anthologies? Have they worked for you? What have you learned? Would you do them again? Would you run a mile? Next time someone says, come and do a group book, it is a thought. There's reasons why we do anthologies. There's reasons why some people will say no to anthologies. I don't think there's no perfect answer for you. You're trying to work out what's the right answer for you. What's the right book for you? That's probably more the point, right? Of course, apart from anthologies, we'll work with authors to publish their books. So I'm publishing several books again as we speak. I have a book launch for one of my authors, Laverne, on Friday coming up. This summer Friday, where are we now? So 3:22. So maybe a couple of hours on from now, next Friday, my author will be an international bestselling author. That's the idea. That's the plan. Welcome, Leanna. I see you. I don't know whether you work on the book, Leanna. I think you are. Dr. Lisa, superstar Lisa. Welcome. I see you as well. I know you've written a couple of anthologies, Lisa. So I would love to have your thoughts. Now that you're international bestselling, you call yourself co-author. No, that's it. By all means, but I would love to learn your thoughts. Michael, you're in the studio. I see you, Michael. I hope your connection stays today, Michael. I really hope it stays because yesterday you kept falling off. There's nothing worse than looking and thinking, "Where's Michael gone? He disappeared." But you're here. You're here, my friend. So give me a couple more minutes and then let's start the conversation properly. Let's see what people think of anthologies, what people can have learned from their experience, and what we can learn from your experiences. As I go to the comments, the link, the StreamYard link is there. So Michael got the link, so that's probably why he's in the studio. It's always a good thing. Let's talk to Michael before we start the show properly. How are you doing, Michael? How's your day going?
Oh, my day is going pretty well, actually.
It's
I got up
going.
early. Yeah,
Excellent.
it started off a little rough though.
Why?
Rough riding is always all right. I
Why did your day start off rough, Michael? What's that mean?
I had a stomach bug,
Okay.
so I had to visit the men's room quite a bit. So after that, for about an hour or so, I was basically inundated with dealing with that. And then
you're feeling
afterwards,
you're stabilized,
yeah,
right?
I'm kind of stabilized, yeah. But
Excellent.
right now it's kind of like my calf muscles want to go in and do some exercises. I feel them itching for some exercise, so I can't do that right now.
No,
But I'll
yeah,
do it later.
are you at work?
Yeah.
Okay. So, no, but your time to exercise will come later.
Mm-hmm.
Surely.
You know how I am.
Well, you can't be at work and exercising at the same time. Well, of course, you can move yourself, right? You can do small movements.
Yeah, I can practice doing squats, and I don't do it to the great number like 700 like I used to do now. Maybe
700.
10 or 10, 20. Yeah,
700. What's the point of that?
700. Stamina, building up strength, resilience, quickly, what do you call it? Teaching my muscles to maneuver to certain positions and getting used to it. That's the point of doing it.
Are
If you
you
want to
sure 100
get it,
wouldn't do? Are you sure 200 wouldn't do? 700 is a bit much. I mean, I know how long I can imagine how long it takes to 700 because I do
well,
so often.
according to an ancient teacher of martial arts, the more you do, the better.
Yeah, but there has to be a limit somewhere.
Apparently, no, there's no limit. And I'm seeing the old men in China who they're just incredible. I mean, they're still alive, bouncing around like young men. Ah,
Yeah, well,
I tell you, if you watch them, you'd be envious too, Annie.
no. I've watched them. Of course, I've watched them. And so my son tells me squats, that will help me to walk later on in old age. I don't
Yes,
believe
you
it.
do.
But I say I'll do
But
some. I'm not going. I'm not going past 70 because there's no point. There comes a
well,
time when
the most interesting type of squat is a dynamic squat. And when I say dynamic squat, I'm talking about the duck walk. You do the duck walk, that will certainly give you, and that's where I want to go. I want to get
Goodness
to that
me,
limit.
Michael. Goodness me.
Yes,
No,
that's.
no,
I am not.
Michael. No.
I'm currently not strong enough to do the duck walk, so I want to get to that point.
Well, look, go and do your leaning against the wall. Do your squats against the wall and stay there for half an hour. I'm saying that's a better use of your time than doing 700.
You actually do that for half an hour?
Yeah, well, I'm saying people can. If you want really
Wow.
strong legs, if you want your muscles in your legs to be bigger
Just
than
sit
that,
there for half an hour.
it will
Wow.
hurt. You're gonna be in
Of
absolute
course, it's
pain.
gonna hurt. I know the pain.
Yeah, that's
I know the
that's
pain.
that's and then you love comfortable. I always tell you I love comfortable. No, moderate
Wow.
isn't good enough. You have to go. If you're gonna go extreme, go extreme. Go really
Okay.
extreme. Don't do it by halves. Do it by loads. I do it by a long time.
Yeah,
And
well, that's the challenge, Annie. That's the challenge, and thank you very much for it.
you can do squats, that's like say for an hour, and well, yes, you're going to be in pain, but it doesn't feel like hard
Uh,
work. It doesn't feel like,
Actually, when you do squats for an hour, 700 is about an hour.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, the benefits. I
If
might as
you
well.
break it up, you can actually do it in less time, like 45 minutes. But I typically break it up, doing 100 at a time and walk around after doing my first 100, then I go on to do my 200 and so on. And then if I want to do it faster, I do 300 in one go and then break it up like that. I don't do it all at once.
You're crazy. You're crazy, Michael. You're crazy. Let's leave your sports out of this, right? Thank you
Yeah.
for joining. Thank you for coming to talk about anthologies. Of course, I've got you in mind for my next anthology, the health anthology that I mentioned. So,
Yes.
so
Yes.
Michael will tell us the stories about why he's doing all these squats and the other things that he does.
Ah, yes, I can get into
Right.
that. Yes, exactly. Why the reason I'm do what's the reason I'm doing the squats? Yes, I can tell you that.
Yes, yes. Well, amongst your other stories as well, I imagine. You
Um,
know,
uh, I can also I can also basically bring you in too because you know about the squats and you're my best you're my best cheerleader, giving me all these kinds of advices.
I laugh because I love seeing my name in the book. No, I think Lisa mentioned me in one of her anthology chapters, and I was like, oh, that's why I love Lisa really because anyone
Okay.
who mentions me in their few words, because an anthology you only have a few thousand words, right? At most.
Oh
Some
wow.
some give you a page, some give you less, some give you more. I say, but
So
literally,
so
I love
so
anyone who gives me that name NEO song in the limited words. It gives me so much joy.
yeah, okay. So tell me something. If I were to do that, do I get a discount?
No. Well, I'm in the book already, so it's not as good when it's in my book that I'm in. It's when it's a different anthology altogether, different author, different group, different team, different community, and then someone takes the time to mention me. Ah, what joy it gives me! What joy!
Once I finish this one, I'll figure it out. I-
See, I'm
I'll
forced to
do.
buy the book then. I'm forced to buy our book, Michael, because it's our book, right?
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, again, I'll come to that point later on. Some hate it, some hate the idea, some don't mind the idea. Yeah, it's part of the process. Okay, so let's start the conversation.
Anthologies anthologies are really good because, well, we're going to talk about that, yeah, later on. I'm not going to spill the beans until after we start talking. So
Stop it, Lisa. Honestly, Lisa
I'll
said
hold
none,
my tongue.
none of her body parts ever itch to exercise. Yeah, but we have to exercise, right? We have to exercise. You know, and I would
Lisa,
like.
you're probably not old enough yet. You wait until you get to that age, then you'll feel it, and it will be painful. Oh, I can't wait. No, I.
I
Sorry,
don't
that
know.
was
I,
rude.
I don't know if that's a crazy way of thinking, Michael, because I'm wondering when do I stop? I was playing football when I was younger, and in my 30s was a chance to grow. Yay. Physically, spiritually, mentally. Yay, I grew. So there you go. And here I am at 50. I'm thinking, no, so I gave myself a fit by 50 challenge. And I played that. Am I smaller? Just a bit. Am I fitter? Yes, for sure. But when do I stop? You have to stop sometime, right? I'm not,
Never,
no,
never.
I think
Your body has to be working all the time.
it is working. By the time I get to 60, I might just think, stop that, because it's pain. It's
No,
pain.
it's not pain. You just gotta
Pain.
love it. You gotta love the pain. True. That's
I
also
don't love
true.
the
You
pain. I don't
have
love
to
the
love the pain, and then it will go away. As long as you end up loving the pain and truthfully loving the pain, then it will go away.
I don't truthfully love the pain, Michael. I'm saying to you that because I don't do simple things. You know, hanging is
Well,
hanging
well,
is
well,
a sort of pain on my hands. You know, doing
well.
this is difficult pain.
You got to set
Doing
your
my
mind in such a manner that that's what happens. You got to
doing my
trick your mind.
kettlebells is not too much fun. I do it, so because I have to do it, and that's a routine I've committed to. Yeah, I do. I commit to, but I'm not going to do it forever. You know, I don't
Oh,
need muscles forever. I need to, you know, as long as I'm healthy and I'm alive, that would do me. 65 maximum. 60. I mean, my 60s just sounds odd. I'm not going to be exercising in my 60s. I'm going to let myself
I'm
fat,
I'm gonna I'm gonna wait until you're close to your 60s, then I'll ask you again.
and then I'm going to let myself become fat, comfortable, and happy. Yay. Yay. Anyway, forget that. I'm talking about the anthologies, Michael. So stop it. Mr. Adu Joshua, welcome. How are you doing? I haven't seen you for a while. Glad you're here. Lisa, of course, Annie. You're the reason I'm doing this LinkedIn events now. I have to mention your book. Yes. Okay. So I'm always grateful. You know, of course, when you write my name in a book, my friends, I'm forced to buy that book. I bought the book to read this chapter. I did buy the other anthology, your anthology on menopause, Lisa. Yes, I learned a lot about you. I was like, "Where's my name?" Damn, my name's not there. Damn. So I've left that one alone, right? I'll go over it. Now, one mention a lifetime is good enough for me. Anyone else? If you mention me in a book, please let me know. Let me know. Tell me. If I don't know, I'm in your story. Then I can't logically justify buying every book. You know, but if I know I'm in your story, then I will, of course, go and see what you said about it. No, what you said about me. So it's not just you, Lisa. Who else mentioned me? Alicia mentioned me as well. So I bought that. And James
Don't
mentioned
don't
me.
don't forget about the discount, Annie. Don't forget about the discount.
There's no discount. James mentioned me. Hello, Nick. How you doing, Nicole? I was in your show. No, I was on the only show yesterday. So, you know, I think did I see pictures of you? And yeah, Felipe had pictures of you, I think. Welcome. Of course, so great to say hi. And so Nicole does several anthologies. You know, she has, I don't know, she's taken them on with gusto. I think last time she published 3 books in the anthology series at once, which I thought was remarkable. How do you publish 3 books at once? And Nicole's pulled it off, and I'm sure she did other anthologies as well. So, welcome, Nick. Glad you're here. Because you haven't been to Nick's rooms. Lisa and I go to Nick's rooms very often, so do connect with her and do go along. The best way to connect is go to our comments section on the event page and find the people that you want to connect with and do. You know, click on their profile, connect with them, and away you go. That's it's much harder now than it was with the audio. When we just had LinkedIn audio, you just click on the picture on the page. But you know, it can still be done. And I always say everything good that happens on LinkedIn comes from connecting with people, meeting them in real life. That's what I'm Zoom for, and then having a conversation with them. Now, my justification is always that people remember you when you speak to them, and they remember how you made them feel. And if you never talk to someone, they'll soon forget your connection. You know, I'm sure everyone knows that's a fact, right? You know, we'll see it every day, my friends. So don't be shy. Connect. And some people tell you, well, no one wants to meet with me. Well, maybe because they know that you have the wrong intentions. You intend to sell to them rather than working with them. You know, so yeah, this YG, I see you. How you doing? How are you doing? You're not talking to us. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm good.
See,
What about you?
I'm great. Thank you for coming to the studio. No, so okay, let me start the conversation properly, and then we'll come to you. Of course, you know, you're here. Michael's here. So hey, so good. Welcome. Okay. like I was saying, I think let me welcome Jay first, and another one of our super authors. So Jay's book, the Rules of Engagement and Storytelling, is out there. Do connect with him. Do go and buy the book. I'm actually reading the book as we speak, Jay. And I say, of course, I was part of your team to get the book out there and making the book a bestseller. So amazing. Glad you're here, Jay. Come and share with us. So the conversation I want to have really is between, is what are the pros and cons of an anthology? An anthology is a collection of content from various authors around a theme. So the key thing is it's a group book, whether that is one, or there's two of you, three of you, or more of you. Essentially, there's more than one author telling a story or stories, and there's usually a theme. Some anthology publishers are brave and say, right, write what you like. I think that just creates chaos. And it probably leads to one of the disadvantages of anthologies. That disadvantage being that, you have different stories that don't align necessarily. For some, that's an exciting thing. For others, that's the seeds of chaos, right? Professor Roxana, welcome. She's another one of my co-authors in my anthology that you see behind me. So I'm glad you're here. So Dr. Roxana also now has 2 books published in her own name. It gives me joy to say such words. So, so she knows some of the realities of anthologies. Right. So let's go with the pros. Why would you want to be in a group book? Michael, share with us. I could give you many reasons. I'm sorry, but let's hear from you. What's your thinking? Why would you want to be in a group book?
All right. First of all, it's easier to collaborate with people when you're writing a document or a book.
Yeah.
And you've got several people that you can talk to, right? And get ideas from and spoon from, with respect to what you want to put on your section of the anthology. You share. You book comes out, and I for myself have never written a book, so it's going to be my first one, where I'm joining other people and sharing in the accolades that come afterwards. And that's also positivity. It gets amplified when you write your own book later on down the road. But this is just a taste, something to whet my appetite. I believe that's what Annie wants to do with me. And then later on, capture me and ask me to write another book about something else different, just my own. Because I knowing Annie's mind, he's very devious like that. I'm on to him. I'm
allowed to laugh.
Well, that's the reason why I'm doing it. I want my story to actually get out there. It is a personal story, and I'm very concerned that in my part of the world, or my country, or for my people, they are not aware of how significant it is to talk and get information with respect to your health, and with respect to how to and basically have the information with respect to how someone got out of that situation. They don't talk about it. People go, to their death without saying anything, and usually it's sudden, and it's kind of like, what happened? Why? And they're doing it, and that's happening at younger and younger ages. And so it's puzzling, and it's also hurtful. And we can see that, it's I believe, well, from my perspective, is that there is a lot of stress that is associated with what happens when they actually expire. Of course, we never know exactly what the situation is, but we know what their habits were. And typically, it's hard work, stress about something or another. And you can actually see them grow old, start growing old at a very young age. Like they get to their 30s and they're having gray hair already. That should not be happening, but it does happen. They're smoking profusely. We know how bad smoking is, but they don't seem to care about that, but just continue. And we also know what the side effects are with regards to smoking. Um, they you know it's we know that they probably died because they had an issue, but they never said anything about it. Probably nothing to their siblings, probably something to their wife, or maybe not. I don't know. The fact is that there is a lack of information and there are a lot of people dying for reasons that are not so complicated to resolve. And so long as we are aware of them, which is what we should be doing, we'll certainly, as a group, Ugandans are very good at that, take action and follow the proper solutions and guidelines. But this idea of thinking that just because you're sick, it's not a good idea to talk to anybody or let anybody know because you'll be shunned as a family or you know, that's the kind of thing that they do back home. They really seriously believe in that, or and people won't come to greet you or anything like that. We're very social people, and that's we really enjoy you know, the camaraderie. We don't want to be shunned because we're sick, and we want our friends to come around. We don't want people to talk badly about us. It's not a being sick is being sick. There's nothing wrong with that. Come out and talk about it. Let's find a better solution, a better way to live back home in Africa, so that and we do have the methods and the means, and they're local, holistic methods and means. But if you don't talk and say, I do have this, we'll never know. The kids grow up, they don't even know what they've got genetically or ungenetically because the parents didn't talk about it. But they do find out later on in their life, oh, look at this. I got this and I got that. They find out the painful way. And then they follow what their parents did. They don't talk about it. That's just continues from generation to generation, and that's not good. It has to stop. And I'm aware of it because America's an open society. They do talk about, you talk a lot about what's going on with them. And that's a good thing. That's something that we can adopt back home in Africa. We can adopt communicating with each other and telling each other what's wrong and finding solutions that are holistic and good for us, as opposed to just dying without reaching out to anybody about what's going on with us, because that affects our psychology. That affects and as it affects our psychology, it affects everybody else's psychology because we become internalized, and at the same time we become moody, and all those kinds of effects happen. But if we do not talk, we do not understand these things, we do not know why these things are happening, we'll never progress, never move forward. We'll never be better. We'll never better ourselves. That's what we want for our children. As far as I know, that's what we want for our children. Because we spend a lot of time and a lot of pain, being in a lot of pain for our children, but we're not thinking about what is most important. And that is for us to talk, and that other people know what's going on with ourselves and how, and then finding a resolution to solve it. We should not be afraid of ostracization. We should not be afraid. We should have no fear of things like that. But we're traditional people. We do have the fears. They bother us. It's something to overcome as well. Through education and through knowledge, we shall overcome. So that's why with the book, I'm coming forward to write the book. I want to let them know the book is written. I want to let them know about my DVT issues. I want to let them know that it's sometimes hereditary. I want to let them know that it's very common and let's just say there's a possibility that there are more African Americans who, not African Americans, there are more Africans who have this issue because of the way we're built. We have thin legs, our veins probably not so great. And we're supposed to be extremely active people. If we do not continue with our activities well into old age, we're going to be suffering from a whole bunch of ailments, which we can avoid. Anyway, that's about it, Annie.
No, I think that you said a lot there, my friend. You said a lot there. I've done a good job, of course, in discovering a topic that resonates. I think that's probably the most important thing, in your share, Michael. The importance of making sure that the topic of the theme of the anthology, theme of the book resonates with you. I think that's hugely important, right?
Absolutely.
An anthology, you have to make sure that you truly buy into the topic. The reality is that you get to write a chapter, maybe a page, just a short story. Maybe I call it a short story, right? Where
right,
you have to pack a lot of you have to pack a lot into that chapter if you want to. And so the opposite is almost writing as if it doesn't matter, almost like it's a joke, right? And no one wants that. I think when you buy
that's the opposite of it. And I think as a publisher, you'll notice that, and I'm pretty sure you're very genuine, and you'd say, I can't publish this because it's not genuine. You're writing it like it doesn't matter, and yet it should matter to other people. But I don't know. It all depends on the theme.
It is a look. Let's face the truth. Let me welcome Tolu, another one of my amazing co-authors in this Lessons we Learned from COVID-19. Of course, Tolu has, I think, 13 books in her name. Yeah, it could be 12 books in her name. Because she wrote at least one in partnership with her husband. Is that a group book? Of course not. That's still working with another author, so it fits into what we call an anthology in that sense. Welcome to Lou. Tolu's a best-selling author, I think 24 times. Yeah, Tolu. You're a genius, Tolu. We love that. So I'm glad you're here. Who else do I see? Albert, welcome. I see you. Superstar Natalie, welcome as well. If I've missed you, please forgive me. So drop us a comment if you're here, so I can mention you. I can't mention you otherwise. I will know you're here. All right. I think the point I was making is that I think some people will tell you one of the cons of an anthology is that it's for us publishers to make money.
Your price, excuse me.
Some
Your
people,
book price me.
No. So people will tell you that publishers like me, like Nicole, like Dr. Constance, that we publish books, we publish anthologies just to make money, because it's usually not free to be in an anthology. You have to pay to be in the book, right? So you can just you can start a non-meaningful topic, and get people to write about it, because people love to write about random things. Whereas if you say that dive into a deep topic like Mike was talking about, where it's about your health, and then you can still make money, because if you can get enough people to join the book and they're all paying, then you are covering your costs and potentially creating a book that's going to sell.
Okay, thanks.
That's one of the perks of anthologies. I think now this is a health topic, Michael. It's huge for me because, like you say, people don't talk about their health. People don't talk about how they overcome illnesses. People just it's almost like once you become ill, then it's almost like you have you're more vulnerable than other people. You suddenly have a weakness, and I don't agree. So I think the reason I chose the topic is I think we can learn from each other how people survive and thrive. It's not always your health is not. There's more to learn, especially with our topic, which is about how you survive, Michael. How do you survive in life-threatening illness? I think there's more conversations than people might realize when it comes to health. I've started to learn that there's a lot more strategies. Let me give you an example. If someone has cancer, we'll say, okay, go and have the usual, go and have chemotherapy, go and have radiotherapy, all these therapies they are, and take the medication, of course. Will that cure you? The chances are no. Sadly, Natalie, I just sent you a link on your DM. So the chances are, chemotherapy might just kill you because it's there to kill most cells, and that just sounds ludicrous to me. It sounds silly. Would I say no to chemotherapy? Maybe. From what I'm learning from people and what I'm learning from the evidence. Yeah.
Excuse me. Here's the thing. Hold
on, Michael. Now let our friend Yadiswar to speak.
Excuse me. Your COVID is a lungs infection, no?
What do I do? Is
COVID-19, no? Virus, lungs infection, no?
I suppose it's non-fiction if it's true, right?
Yeah, you need treatment, no?
Right. If someone needs treatment now, then this is the complication. Yeah, this is a complication. I would say to anyone, go and get treatment. Go and get treatment. But I know treatment alone is not going to save you, my friend.
Social distance. Only social distance, meaning.
No.
Some people don't need treatment. Some people do need treatment.
Yes.
But most effective, from my experience and from what I've seen and from what I've heard, you really don't need treatment. What you need to do is separate yourself, and at the same time, take it easy. Try and get over whatever it is, the COVID-19
body
over
temperature.
In time the body temperature will get down. Use holistic methods to get yourself your temperature down and everything down. You do not need the COVID vaccine to get over COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID virus and versus in rhinovirus is a different one. Rhinovirus is a totally breathing free. COVID-19 no up and downing, no breathing, no. Difference, no. Virus no difference.
Look, my friends, the issue is, and Michael mentioned holistic strategies, holistic techniques, right? I think that's important. Natalie, I see you in the studio, but you need to enable your camera and microphone, and then you can turn your camera off when you join the studio. otherwise I can't bring you up on stage. It says device is not connected. So you have to enable, at least your microphone so everyone hear you.
Your
People,
Crawford, 1 minute. Crawfox virus, no. Your COVID virus is a same characters.
yeah, look, so the COVID virus, it's just another illness in our scheme of things. I think my take is there's always a holistic dimension, as Michael mentioned. We need to do different things. It's not just medication. We need lifestyle matters. So what to eat, what to drink matters. Our level of activity, how we live, in other words, matters. There's many more things. Some people would say religion, spirituality matters as well.
Yeah,
Some
actually,
go.
yeah. Actually, your Crawfox is a COVID fox is a same your temperatures, no, body temperature.
Yeah,
Your same your one room is a social distance. Crawfox is a social distance. Your COVID 19 is same. This is a social distance now.
yeah. Again, if we look at something like cancer,
Yeah, virus is a different now, different
yeah,
characters now.
that's if we look at something like cancer, then we're suddenly having a different conversation. But some will tell you again, if you have cancer, you need to be isolated from other people. Now, normally because things like chemotherapy are going to weaken your immune system so much that you can pick up any
Yeah,
virus. Right.
actually yoga is a better now.
Yeah, that's not say again. That's
Yeah,
another
yoga.
technique. Mindfulness techniques can help as well.
Yes, yes.
Natalie, you're on stage. First time ever, Natalie. Unmute yourself, my friend. Unmute yourself. I'm so excited to hear you on stage in this live event. I waited 3 months for this, Natalie.
Natalie Thomas.
Natalie, you have to unmute. You don't unmute. Don't turn your
Wait,
camera
wait.
on. Just unmute. Find your microphone there. Bottom of the screen normally it says mute on mute. Bottom there. Natalie, I get so excited. Anyway, whilst we're waiting for you, Nat, let me welcome a few more people. So Albert, I see you. Welcome, sir. Glad you're here. So they say thank you, Michael. Natalie's doing the great thing she always does. So like Olayanju, welcome. If I haven't destroyed your name too much. So Superwoman Margaret, another one of my amazing old co-authors in the Lessons Learned from COVID-19. So glad you're here. Glad you're here. Look, my friends, let's not get stuck on a point. I think choosing the right topic that resonates with you is normally a good place to start when it comes to anthologies, right?
Well, actually, the breathing exercise, pranayama. This is a one. Yeah, pranayama is a better. Yeah, coordinating. Your yoga
Yeah,
asana.
they're saying like,
Yeah,
look,
Indian. Yeah, Indian using pranayama, yoga asana. Daily, your morning 5:30 to 1 hour daily.
yeah, Michael,
Your is a
start doing yoga,
is a
Michael. Start doing
better.
yoga.
Your body is a better. Is
Yeah,
lungs using pranayama. We are breathing exercise
okay. Look,
up and down.
listen, Michael mentioned many other things. Michael mentioned
Mm.
many other benefits to being in a group book. The fact that you are going to become published without having to write a whole book.
Oh.
Writing a book from back to front it takes time. Of
Mm.
course, it takes time. So one of the benefits of the anthology is that you're writing, say, a chapter, a section, a part, which it's much easier. It means like you get published quicker. Again, Michael mentioned that when you work with others, you can have others to bounce ideas off. So there's many benefits of working in a group, right? You said the fact that you can share the accolades. I mean, the benefits. The reason I like doing anthologies. I'm not going to do many of them, and maybe all my books are going to be. Most of my books are going to be group books. Group books in the sense that I don't necessarily need all the credit for writing a book. I want to share the credit around, as Michael says, share the accolades. If I'm gonna do a book where I can, where it's gonna get published and be in the records forever, What's the difference to me if I have 3 other people in the book? No difference at all. I want to make people stars. I put in the book rather than just making myself the one who gets famous with the book. So that's another one of my reasons, Michael. I think collaboration is truly good, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes,
what did I write? No. You get amplified, right? They said there is a benefit. Again, a lot of people think writing a book is a hard part. It's not. Right? The hard part is editing. The opposite is writing your story. And an anthology makes that easy for you because the publisher will normally handle that part of the process. Of course, it's going to come back to you if there are things to be changed. Of course, it is, right? That's an anthology for you. Yeah, but compare that to writing a whole book. You spend your time, you write your book, and editor goes through it and says, right, don't like that. That needs change. That can be improved. That can be, and you find that almost like every page has corrections. Again, in an anthology, you only have one chapter to deal with, right? So you can make your changes pretty quick. And that's one of the benefits that people ignore. Of course, there's also a cost element. Now, most anthologies will charge you to be in them, so they should, because now it costs us time to put it together. It costs us time to do the editing. It costs us time to do the cover design. It costs us time to do everything that you normally have to do with a book. Now, an anthology is done as a group, so the group covers the cost. So, and we take care of the process itself. So you, the author, you spend a lot less time working and a lot more time enjoying. Go on. Are you thinking, Adishwaji? I saw you almost speak. What are you thinking?
come again.
Are you thinking? Were you going to say something?
No. Your coordinated is a very. You are actually great. Your book.
You're too kind. You're too
You
kind.
are.
Yeah.
You are very hardworking now. My opinion. Yeah.
Tell them, my friend. Tell them. It's true. Look, we have to. And anthology is not easy work for us
Yeah.
publishers.
Marketing is a new book releasing now.
Yeah, so now for you, the author, the co-authors, it is an easier
Yeah.
process. Trust me.
You are
Okay.
coordinating different lessons from
Yeah.
society.
Yes. So I'll come to that in good time, my friend. I'll come to that. I say it's like herding cats. I'm trying to get cats to all behave in the same way, the right way. It's nearly impossible, right? So that's what anthology feels like to us authors. That's one of the disadvantages, but I'll come to that in good time. Jeremy, welcome. Glad you're here. Michelle made it in the end. Welcome, Michelle. So Michelle's working on her book as we speak. Saying, Mr. Allen, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Who have I missed anyone? Oh, Tracy, our audiobook expert and also live event host. Welcome, Tracy. So glad you're here. Right. So Michael, so you mentioned quite a lot there. Would you think of writing your own book, Michael? I wonder.
A complete book? Are you talking about that?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, if I understand correctly, I'm just going to be going through briefly what I've gone through, and I'm going to do a synopsis.
Mm.
Now, if I need to go, if there are people who are interested in the synopsis, in other words, this is why the anthology is being written, then you get feedback, and folks will tell you that's a good book, there's excellent stuff, we learned quite a bit. Then at that point, then you can make a decision to give more detail, to write a book separate, or come back and write a second anthology, or revise the anthology that we've actually written and add more information. So those are the things I would consider. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's an important point. And I see you, Linda, Linda's working on her novels, her creative novels, so between fiction and non-fiction. She's writing her own creative stories that are No, not based on, no, not real, but I don't know until we see it. We don't know whether it's based on reality or not. Linda will tell us in good time. Now, Michael, the reason I asked is because I think once you are published in an anthology or in your own book, it's almost like an addiction starts. You're suddenly driven to write more. You know, suddenly it becomes this. I need to be published more. I mentioned Dr. Roxana earlier, right? Like she jumped. I spoke to her. Oh, a year and a half ago, if that. Yeah, probably this time last year. No, probably November, December last 2 years, 2023, right? And she said, "Annie, I want to get published." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So let's work on it. It can be done." No, but we'll work it out. And then obviously she joined our anthology.
Mm-hmm.
And then she suddenly, as soon as our anthology was published, launched, and then became a bestseller, she's like, Annie, I've got 6 other books I've written already.
Wow.
That's the level of addiction. So that's why she has 2 published now. And I'm just about to publish number 3. That's what happens.
You know what?
Michael.
You know what, Annie? I think about that and your story about that, and I wonder to myself, is Annie passing, or is this Annie's version of tramadol?
What's that? What's tramadol? Is it good
Tramadol.
or bad, Michael?
Now, I will tell you something about tramadol. That is something that's going on in Nigeria, and apparently it's very addictive. It's a drug, and all types of people are getting addicted to it. And so it's kind of like, heroin and so on and so forth. You give a little bit, some people take it, and then they want more and more and more and more. That's what that's the impression I'm getting.
Michael, I don't start this addiction to you writing your writing. It's not I don't create it. It happens to all who write and get published. They just have this. You have this certain urge to tell more of your stories. Maybe it's because many of us go through life thinking no one cares what we have to say. No one cares about our story. No one's going to read. No one cares, right? And then as soon as you write one, you realize it's not about them. It's about you and your intentions for your stories, right? Who do you want to help? How's your story going to benefit humanity? Do you want to leave a legacy? And maybe deep down, it's a case of what do you really want to leave in this world? Should you?
That's very true.
Tomorrow.
And I'll let Natalie give you the rebuttal.
Yeah, Natalie, we'll see a picture. Oh, Natalie, I can get tomorrow more exciting. You have to unmute that. Who am I going to work on? So Linda says her book's the wrong.
Hi, Annie.
I never know.
Hi, everyone.
Christiana, I see you too. Welcome, Christiana. Glad you're here. Thank you. Christiana is again. We're working on Christiana's books. See, Michael, once you start, they become books. Anyway, Natalie, sorry about that. Ignore me. Welcome, Nat. How you doing? Good to see you on stage. Yay! I'll put you center of the screen now. There you go. We're seeing your round head.
There's a bit of a time delay. I'm having a bit of trouble with a time delay, Annie. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's fine. I'm on mute, because
we are patient people. We are patient people.
Yeah. Talk away, Nat. Tell us your thoughts on group books. Do you do them? Are you interested in doing a group book? Why? What's in it for you? What's the drawbacks?
I will get used to it. It's because I'm a guest at the moment. I haven't had a chance.
Okay, right.
I haven't had a chance to set up my account yet, Annie. I do apologise.
It's fine. But let's talk about group books. Writing books with other people.
I can hear you all chuckling.
No, we're not chuckling now. Right. Are you interested in doing group books, Natalie? We ask a question. Natalie says yes, no. Natalie, you have to unmute.
Me too.
Nat. Okay. I'll be. No, Michael says we're patient. We're patient people. We're very patient.
Uh,
Nat.
I think you've self-advocated for anthologies quite well. So you have brought me around to that thinking, Annie. So I would say yes, and it's a good topic.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. No, look. Of course, there are negatives about anthologies, my friends. Let's not kid us. Let's not be overly, what's what I'm looking for. Gloss over the hard bits of anthologies. And I'll cover those, and I wonder if you agree. Now, Yadiswaji, what's your thoughts? Would you write a group book? Would you be in a book with other authors?
Come again?
Would you be in a book with other authors?
No, I don't know. Your book good man.
Okay. So do you have a
Yeah,
thought?
your COVID is a very lessons no. COVID
Mm,
90. Very society ki breathe actually lessons. Your emotions,
mm,
your human, your man to man, very feeling. Your poor people is a foodless, crying. Your society total crying now. Back, all the world back.
mm.
Mm, totally. I am very bad year 21, 22 world. I am very actually you crying no. My side, my friends and colleagues very quite the your virus is attack now.
Yeah. Again, for
Yeah,
me,
yeah, economically you're poor. All economic crisis.
mm, no, I say now for me, this is why I guess I'm saying I'm not going to write too many anthologies. I'm going to write books with other people because it's I want to write books that matter. And the COVID story, so it's a strange one. Again, of course, you know,
Your book is a marketing your very population.
yeah. Well, no,
Yeah,
look,
quite yeah. Lesson is a your lesson, your quiet lesson. No. Your booking title is a good, very. I mean,
yeah, look, it
yeah,
surprises me every day. I see a story about COVID, which is
yeah,
strange. It's strange. It's like you say, 2020, 2021, 22 were hard years. That's when
yeah.
COVID was at its worst. Yet we're still talking about it now in 2025. I
Yes,
think
your small villages to towns and your very people, yeah, angry, crying, broth,
mm,
your foodless, your economic crisis,
mm.
your total people is on a crisis level now. Your humanity, social distance. Your COVID virus is a very bad, your bad
Yeah,
year.
of course. No, it is, but like I say, I think it's going to be an issue for humanity onto the
Yeah,
next onto the next pandemic. People are going to be concerned and talking about COVID for generations. That's why we wrote the book because it gives people an anchor point of what COVID was like for the real person, real people on the streets, not just in the UK, not just in the US, in Africa. So also got all sorts
yeah.
from around the world.
Indian is a Indian.
I didn't find an Indian writer to join the team. So I wish I got someone from Asia, but I wasn't that lucky. And I wish you had done, but say
Yeah,
hopefully.
COVID virus is a business now, no? Yeah, your pharmacy is business now.
Yeah, for sure. Look, again, like I said, someone's got to just tell the story. That person was me, right? Linda says, I will be open to co-writing a fiction romance with someone. Who wants to write a fiction romance with Linda? It's look, you have the option for sure, right? And that's one of the benefits of today.
If I get myself in the mood, I can do that.
Yeah, Linda, Michael, connect and work it out, right? Work it out. Right. Let me go back to Natalie. Natalie, are you able to talk? You're muted, Nat.
Hello?
Yeah, no, I can see you. Yeah, just found you. Natalie's not
Ye-
unmuted yet. Go on. Yeah, just why you it seem to have lost your sound.
Yeah, yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
No,
Hi. Yeah, hello everybody. I do apologise. I was having a 30 to 40-second delay.
No, 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 no.
So
No
yeah,
problem.
I was having a delay. I had 30 to 40 seconds of delay my side.
Okay, so now how long is the delay
So what
now?
you were saying, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. So are
Which
we are we
location now?
Same
are
here.
we
I can hear you loud and clear.
are we close
Natalie?
to being in real time, Natalie, or not? So let's wait a few seconds. Let's see what actually responds. Hmm. We're waiting for you, Nat.
I think so. The echo keeps coming and going, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, you haven't got two tabs open, have you? Natalie, well, at least we heard your voice. No, we heard your voice. There's two things we take away today, my friend. Choosing your anthology topic is huge. That's probably the most important point. And I guess, the chance to work with Linda on her rom-com fiction romance novels is another big win today, right? No, I don't know. Sort your sound out. Hopefully, well, you're here. Like you've done the first part, which is come in the studio and share with us. You've made my day on that point. So right, let me cover a few points that we might call advantages. Of course, I mentioned a few. I mentioned a few already. The fact that we can, so we can get things done quicker. We can write our book quicker, right? And I guess we'll learn how to write a book. We'll learn how to write. So, even by writing a chapter, maybe this answers your question, Michael, about why do we suddenly get the addiction. It's not Annie's addiction. I didn't create it, my friends. It's just that it's there in the world, right? So, maybe it's the fact that we learn how to write our chapter, that it gives us the inspiration and the confidence to write more, to write other chapters, to tell a story. But no, a story. Now we have stories to tell. Just tell it in the right anthology. So there's
And
another. Go, Michael.
when it comes to addiction or naming something, those things are typically out there, right? And when the name appears, it's because there's the first person who was able to see it, identify it, actually extrapolate it, and then talk about it and say, this is what's actually going on, and this is how it is. So from my book, that's Annie's addiction. Or
It's not my addiction.
tramadol.
Okay, right. I'll respond to you directly. Why not? Let's have
Just say Annie's pushing tramadol, through
an addiction
anthologies.
is a bad habit, Michael. A bad habit that's not good for you. That's harmful to you, right? A good addiction was a
There
good
are
habit.
good
It's
addictions
no
and there are
problem.
bad addictions.
Yeah, so I'm saying a good addiction is no problem, right? In the
Yeah,
right
so the
sense,
one that you have is a good addiction.
yeah, in the writing sense, yeah, the good addiction in writing is to write your book, publish your book, market your book, sell your book. Maybe now do what this room says, turn your book into a business. Now, so you might provide services on the basis of your content, for example, Michael, right? That's a good addiction where you use your books to further
Absolutely.
yourself, further humanity's knowledge, further people, ease people's pain. That's a conversation
I
we're going to have one day. That I think Dr. Leslie Flowers gave me a document last year. The 5 questions you must answer before you start writing your book. Right. That's all about helping people. And who are you helping with your book? But we'll do that in good time, right? I'm saying no. But when it comes to writing, I see a lot of people, Michael. I see a lot of them, more than you could probably think of, right? People who write books, never intended to publish a book, Michael. They write loads. They write every day. They write loads. One of my friends the other day told me they've got 4 books on the go, 4 books at once. They're writing. I'm like, how do you write 4 books? Just write one. Write one. Let's publish it. And then you can write number 2, number 3, and number 4, one after the other, right? But the way her brain works, she can multitask, she tells me. Again, I don't know if that book will ever come out. I'm looking at Natalie as another one here, for example. Nat tells me she's writing 9 books. 9, not all at once, but she's writing 9 books. She has the stories and she's working on them bit by bit. I'm saying that is a lot of, it's a lot of writing when you just need to focus on getting one out. An anthology will focus your mind on boiling your story down to the important bits. I won't say the basics, I said the important bits. Right. Yeah.
The highlights.
I think every book, every story that we tell is about what is the message for the reader. What does the reader really want to know? And then it's for you to paint a picture about how you arrived at that message. Jay talks about when was the moment of transformation. When did you make that realization that this is what it's all about? Again, say as we're talking, for example, before we came here today, yes, I knew the topic was important, but as soon as you said it, Michael, I realized the topic is choosing the right topic is even more important. That probably I gave the credit for. So if I was to tell the story, it is a case of by talking with Michael, by doing a room, where we're talking about choosing topics and anthologies, it dawned on me that this is the point, right? And I said it that way because I think it's about you and me taking our readers back to a moment in time when we learned our lesson. That helps them to place themselves in our story and also must see what we saw, what we see. Are you with me, Michael? It helps them to make it now to make
Absolutely. I see where you're going with that. Yes. And you're describing it very well.
So some anthologies I give you too few pages to tell your story. It's very hard, and it can become, like you say, boil it down. Whereas I would rather you told your story in a smart, clever, maybe concise way, but in a way that has the impact you want. That's the important thing. Christiana says, "Good, Michael. A good addiction is like exercise could become a bad one if it becomes a health risk. A good addiction can become a bad one. Of course, it can. Like I say, writing addiction is a good one, so long as it's put to good use. I couldn't agree more, Christiana. I totally agree with you. Don't just write for the sake of it. don't just write for this now and just hold them to yourselves. That's a bad addiction, right? Write to publish, write to get it out there, write to help people. That's when it becomes a good addiction. The Cristiano carries on, as my friend always does. I'll come to you in a second now. So
Yeah.
four books at a time is ridiculous, and that book will take longer to publish. I agree, and they may not all be as great if you focus on one at a time. I definitely agree, Cristiano. I've told my friend, but some people they believe they've got superpowers. Cristiano, I know. There's a Natalie has her 9 books that she's writing at once. Natalie?
Actually, Annie, I've been writing a couple of them. I've been compiling for a few years because don't forget, I am a global educator. So some of them are for that purpose and they take a long time to compile. And because of the academic disputes in the background that people don't usually see or hear about, it takes longer to get things published. So I have to be careful, and I every so often I have to update information before it can be published. And things change very quickly at the moment because global development is a very dynamic place right now. But the other bits, I was procrastinating a little bit, admittedly, but that was because I've been busy with med school, law school, architect school, because obviously I'm postdoc med because I'm practicing across medicine and neuropsychology. So that's I have a day job off of LinkedIn, and that takes up a lot of my time. And I'm also a global consultant, so I do that too. So that's I can't dedicate as much time as everybody else, and as much time in a condensed manner to writing and publishing books. I have to do it in increments.
What I would be really interested in is the story behind how you wrote the book. As you indicated, there are a lot of fascinating issues that interrupt and make you change your mind or make basically guide you into writing something a little bit different about in the book. So all those interruptions and all those activities that happen in the background, rarely anyone ever sees them, and rarely anyone ever knows about them. So putting them in a book would be great and fascinating. That's what I'd find interesting.
Was that question to me, Michael?
It's
Yes.
a wonderful on stage, I guess.
It's directed to everyone, but especially to you.
I'm interested to hear what everybody else has to say first, but I don't mind answering last. So just let me know when, because I seem to be getting you in real time. I'm so glad I switched devices. But sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry. That was my bad, and I do apologise, Annie, for holding the show up.
Never apologize. Tech is what tech does. Tech does tech, right? But you've won today because I can hear you and you're on stage. That makes that makes me happy, Matt. So I'll take it, right? I think Cristiano asked a good question actually. How long have you been writing these books? I know what comes next. The
children's books, I only just started writing those over the last several months since I met you, Paulette, Islam, Cyrus, because I had the ideas all there, but like I said, I was procrastinating a little bit because there was other bits of writing I was doing, and I do professional writing as well across disciplines, and it's very technical. If you read any of my posts, you'll see I'm quite a technical writer as well. So I have to be able to switch off from one flow and switch into another, and that isn't always easy, as you pointed out. But that's what makes me happy. I'm blessed to have quite a lot of brain capacity because I have physical challenges. And since those physical challenges increased, my brain capacity seems to have expanded. So as a result of that, it makes me happy to be able to still be useful in another way. So that's why I do so many different things. Because I can is the answer, Annie. Because I can do them, and it makes me happy, and it seems to make other people happy too. But that's why you invited me to your anthology, isn't it? Because you know a lot more than other people do about me, and so
no, you got a story to tell. I want to tell you a story, number one, and I want to tell it in a quick way. I think, right, part of the issue, naturally, working in professional written publications, they're in libraries. They're in public libraries, online libraries, and you find them in articles and research papers, right? I don't think that's the problem. I think, naturally, you need to get your book out. If I go by your logic, no book will ever get published. I used to think the way that Michael is thinking, the way you're thinking, in that you have to get the book right. It has to be correct. But knowledge evolves every day. Write your book today, and tomorrow we'll learn what's new, and now you can tell that story in a different book, or you can update your book to have issue 2. But no, that's the way it's done. But you must publish your books. Actually, you must publish your book.
I do agree with you, Annie, and that's why I agreed to come on this project, so I can dip my toe in the pool.
Yeah.
You know, I am a cautiously optimistic person, you know this, and that I wouldn't have gotten all the different opportunities I've had over the last several years if I hadn't have been cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, no, look, I agree with you. I think, again, an anthology, we tend to have deadlines. So we will push it also, the co-authors, along the journey, because we want to get to the end. And again, I say on the back end of what I just said, we wanted you to talk and to write and finish, and let's get published, is the fact that you have to edit what you've written. We'll edit it, and then we'll come back to you to make the changes. And you have to keep reading your book over and over to make sure it's what you want to say. That can be one of the drawbacks. It takes time, right? It takes time to edit a book, and especially if you keep changing it, Natalie. If you keep saying, "Oh, I want to add this. I want to change that part because something has changed in the real world," so that just slows down the anthology process. And there will come a time when me as a publisher, Nicole as a publisher, or Constance as a publisher will say to you, "No more changes. We want you to change and improve the grammar and the spelling."
Annie, I hear what you're saying, but I was literally, that was contextually to do with the global training manuals. I have to do it in that format because that's the rules. Not, I don't make those rules. At the moment, I can't share any of that information. I can't give any snippets because it's a global training publication for health officials and things like this. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's a global law and development thing. So at the moment, it's under wraps. So I could be taken off of my global index.
I'm saying,
but obviously the children's books for sure. I could have made the time, but to be honest, I made the time to spend that time with my family instead, because you also haven't mentioned that I'm a carer of multiple complex needs young people, and I'm also a youngish grandmother. So I have going on in the background. And I do that whilst I'm severely disabled myself. So I do okay. Annie, I'm bossing it, and our cupboards are full. We've got some of the latest technology that we need, and we're doing okay. So I hear what you're saying, but not all of us are full-time writers. I'm not a full-time writer.
You don't have to. An anthology will focus your mind and give you dates. That's my point, right?
Well, that's why I went to the day spa yesterday, Annie, so that I could switch off all of my work, recenter myself as a person that has autism and ADHD, and get focused on the writing this weekend. I've just been obviously awaiting some information from yourself. So it's also the publishers can be very hard to reach. So it's not just the writers, the publishers too can be very hard to reach because they are very busy people too.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm working on other projects. Michael, I may answer your question. I may satisfy your want, your need by writing about the process of writing books. Because as you know, every room I do is a chapter in a book, right? So there will be a book to business book eventually.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'll compartment learning we've learned through writing and through publishing people's books.
It will be fascinating to read, and it will be something that obviously you can author, and it will be your book. So, and it will also be, I think it also be one of a kind as well.
Whether it'll be my book, I don't know, because I don't need to publish myself. I can always. If
you want to do it with Dr. Constance, that's fine with me.
Yes, so if I choose to add someone else to the book because I want to elevate someone, I can. That's what anthologies give us the power to do, right? I can have a co-author who is a non-contributing content-wise co-author. Are you with me?
Yeah.
You
can do what you want.
Credit to it in the book, and I like to give people credit in the book, right? As Natalie mentioned an important point, which is what she's waiting for from me, which is for this health ontology. So same as you're waiting for, Michael, right?
Yeah.
And what everyone's waiting for is what we call the co-author agreement. So I think good anthologies will have an agreement that specifies what you, the co-author, can expect and what you, the co-author, are committing to do. That includes the dates that you're going to meet, includes the number of words you've got, includes my promise to you. Anthology publishers we do more than people realize. Publishing a book is the first part. Now, building that community you mentioned, Mark, at the beginning is important too. So we have to find a way to create a group somewhere. That's on LinkedIn, or that's in LinkedIn groups, or that's on WhatsApp, or that's on Zoom. We have to bring our co-authors together. Of course, if there's just two of you, then that's a smaller project, if you know what I mean, right? So I think your agreement is so important, and I guess I have to get it right. There are two of us, two co-authors. So there's me and Selena as the co-writers. The co-writers are different from the co-authors. So the co-writers are the organizers. Technically, I'm the publisher, yes, but also, my name will be there as a co-writer because I'll be the one essentially putting it all together. So then there will be, she brings her story. She also brings her insights about having survived cancer. So, we're the brains behind the project. Hence, we are co-writers, and then there'll be co-authors. People bring their different stories. You, Natalie, and so on and so forth. With many other people involved, right? That agreement is essential. If you don't see an agreement for your anthology, then sorry about that. I wouldn't have much hope that it's going to go far. Okay, so one of the cons of anthology, the pros and the pro and the cons, really. The pro is that with more people in the book, you have more hands to market your book. Just as you have more hands to write the content, right? You have more hands to actually market a book. But in reality, many co-authors don't pull their weight. Many will write their chapter. As soon as the book is published, they move on. It's so frustrating because the agreement will normally say you have a responsibility and a commitment to market the book, to get involved in marketing activities. I think we need to make sure that you know what you're signing up for, and and play your part. If you don't play your part, then it just makes it why are others gonna do the work for you?
I agree with you, Rennie. I absolutely agree with you. I like to know what I'm doing. I'm a very organised person. I have to be able to do all the different things that I do. And so I like to know what I'm doing with my time when I'm doing it, and I like advance notice, ideally. So especially with these kind of cooperative projects, as you pointed out, because an anthology is within this context, the way you said, we all invest into the project, which I agree with as well. It doesn't work within this context. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
If you're not a very highly renowned published author already, and I mean very renowned, it's very difficult to get published for most people, and the costs are exuberant. So you offer an alternative route by doing it the way that you do it. You are offering everybody an opportunity to have access to share their experience, their thoughts.
Yeah.
So you're making it accessible. You're making literature accessible, because yes, some of what you might publish as a publicist might not be what people refer to as top shelf, but it's always highly informative because there's cultural relevance all of the time, because you always make sure that the people that you work with are diverse, that they have varied backgrounds. There's people from all over the world that you publicise, and I assist you with some of that. Obviously, recently I've been very, very sick, so I've been off of work for quite a time. But I like I said to you, you already know my view with regards to our project. I already told Ennie I haven't got an issue with investing into the project, and I already assured him that I wanted to stay on long term, because I was interested in how it turns out long term.
Yeah, no, we need more people like you, Nat, for sure. We need more, co-authors to be committed, because selling books, my friends, is a lifetime thing, right? I was talking with one of my clients yesterday. She's like, "Oh, I'm so happy that we're going to launch the book next week." I'm like, "Yeah, so am I." It's because it's been intense doing these events once a week, to talk about the book. What I call the pre-launch events that we do. But little does she know that the work for her really starts as soon as the book is published. It's a lifetime of marketing. So Michael, Natalie, I'm glad that you two are committed to the cause, for sure. Now, Jeremy, I understand you have to go, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us again. Now, work on your anthology. I know you want to writing your book, so let's talk about it, my friend. Michelle asked a good question. Can't you find the co-authors for delay? Not really. No, I mean, they're not kids, Michelle. They're adults. That means that I expect everyone to, once you commit, I expect you to meet your requirements. Of course, part of the agreement is the rules around how do we deal with those who are slow to provide their content. If you take too long, then we're not going to put you in the book. Fair enough, I hear you say, of course, right? If you take too long, people like Nicole, people like Dr. CJ, they might move you to another book. They might move your spot that you paid for to another book. I know. For me, I'm very clear. If the money you pay to be in a book in the anthology is non-refundable. So if you don't bring your content, then it's not going. You're not going to be in the book. Of course, that upsets me. Don't get me wrong. That really upsets me, because we want that diversity. We want that diversity of thought, of views, of experiences.
Ennie, I have a question for you.
Go for it. I can't force you to deliver. If you don't deliver,
sorry, I'll only be one moment. I was just wondering, have you considered doing an Audible anthology for my fellow deafblind community members? Because there's quite a few of us on LinkedIn, actually. And some of them, there's quite a few that started coming to your events, Ennie. because they like how people have adjusted their speech pattern so that the captioning can catch what you're saying, for instance. And some of them I know. So because they know that I assist you with some technical bits in the background when you're doing your live shows, because obviously there's a time delay, so you don't get the messages, as people saw when I was trying to log on earlier. I was having a time delay, so I was in the studio, but I wasn't in the studio.
Yeah, look, of course, it's always a consideration. It's always a thought. How do we do the audiobook? I would love to do audiobooks for our anthologies. I guess there's a few technical issues that we face. So in the COVID book, for example, now we've got 10 co-authors, right? Do you want a book with 10 different voices? Or do you want a book with one voice? Whose voice is that going to be? That's question number one, Natalie.
For me, I would say I'd want all of the authors and authoresses' voices, their own voices for their own stories. But obviously, not all authors or authoresses are comfortable to do that.
Yes, for sure.
And you also change that.
Look, I think just in terms of process, it can be quite difficult, right? It can be quite difficult. Because you have to get each co-author to make the time to read the chapter, to read it well, and then we have to pay for them to do the work to publish it as an audiobook. That's a different thing. I publish the paper version and the ebook version, and once it's there, we can create audiobooks. Now, the bookstores, Amazon doesn't like AI readers, for example. That'd be the easiest way. But like you said, let's get the co-authors to read the chapters. Again, not everyone is going to be keen to read the chapter, Natalie.
I'm game.
Not everyone. Yeah, no. Look, so the health one is a different kind of book, and again, maybe, and I should mention one of the drawbacks of anthologies, my friends. So one of it's harder than it looks. It's not as easy as it is. It looks like to us, the publishers, right? I'll say this, and I'm going to be brave. I'm going to stick my head out, really, and say to you, every anthology, every group book we have is challenges. Along the journey, there will be major conflicts. People will fall out. People will fall off. I'm always amazed that anthologies always have some big fight somewhere during the process, right? So even those who have written the book will suddenly start sulking about something they're upset about. And those who haven't written will be sulking about it because they haven't written. And it just, it's often a mess. It's always a mess. So here's my point. I might have 10 co-authors in my book, Natalie. How many of them can I call on today to do anything? On a good day, maybe 7, maybe 8. When we did Cyrus's shows, for example, we did a series of his podcast. Spodcast, yes, I said the word properly, right? So I brought every co-author to have a conversation with Cyrus and talk about their chapter, talk about their life, and talk about their work. I think we did 7 episodes, which is not bad considering. But that gives you an idea that 3 people did not take part. Right. And nothing I'm going to do is going to change that. I'm saying many anthologies is worse than that. You're lucky if you can get 3 or 4 people out of 10, out of 25.
Annie, have you considered lowering the number of people in the anthology and perhaps divesting your attention, divesting that attention elsewhere, and perhaps approaching people that perhaps have more confidence in their content, so that you're more assured they're willing to invest in their content, so that their content can be published and so forth?
Yes, that's so you can lower the number and give people more pages to write. Again, it's a quid pro quo, good and bad, right? Those who would like to write stuff, they want to write more. Those who don't like to write will struggle to write more. but it's an option, Natalie. It's an option. There's many other options for anthologies. I mean, the group book I'm doing with Zion, for example, is Positivity Practical Handbook. I call it that, but that's not the title. That's what it is really. Again, it's not. So we have 6 co-authors, Natalie. 6 co-authors, or 6 authors in the book in total. And we're not saying to anyone, write a chapter and bring it, because it's based on our events, our audio events that we did. So basically, we're going to compile the information, and because we'll co-host, all 6 of us are co-hosts of the event, so we can use the content and give credit to all the team. So I'm not waiting for them to bring a chapter. Me and Zion will do most of the work, but the team can do it, the editing, and then get involved in the marketing, and then I'm also funding the project. Saying that anthology is not free.
Any, I love that. You're like me. You're proactive. You plan ahead as much as you can. But if you don't get the notice you need and a crisis happens, you just deal with it head on. And that's why I've joined this project. But you do need to bear in mind, for me, that's very quick. There's a very quick process, because I only met you in May 2024. It seems to move very rapidly since I met you, Annie. So, and I wasn't podcasting other than on X before now. So to do all the different podcasts that I was doing last year was a big feat as well, on top of all my other duties that I have. But what I like what you're saying, and I agree with you. But perhaps, do you have author publicist coordinator meetings, like maybe monthly?
Of course you do. Of course you do. Now, will everyone turn up? No. This is the publishers.
Obviously, straight very early on who to get off of the team.
No.
That's how the big publishers do it. So I was just wondering if you were doing that, because it's a pretty good system, because it gets things organised and it gets people coordinated. And you can do your HR thing in the background, and use your business psychology.
Actually, come back a bit. If you have a team of people, I said earlier, it's like herding cats, right? So you got a team of people, there's more than you and another. Then you have this dilemma, which is that people have opinions, people have choices, people have feelings. So I might just be any and say, you know what? I'm always any. I'm like, right, if someone's not engaging, cut them off. Be done with it, right? If they don't pay the money, again, they're not in. Bye. It's fine. I'm all right with that, right? And then someone else will pipe up that, oh, but I'm loyal. And they have to be, I want to give everyone credit in the book. And you're like, what the hell for? But they feel so strongly that you have to consider other opinions. This is one of the dilemmas of an anthology. You are dealing with people, so you have to find a way to accommodate, resolve, adapt to different viewpoints. Your viewpoint is never going to hold every time. You might think you know what's right, but some people will think they know more about what's right than you do. In your book, that's an anthology. That's what, when you work in a team, that's how life goes, right? And that's just the truth. I'm saying I have my strict rules. My colleagues normally have their more flexible rules. Let me say this, Natalie. Christiana says that you can always get to an NDA for your global publication in terms of IP protection and content of your publication. So right, if you're worried about people copying your book, or then you can always get non-disclosure agreements so people don't share the information. Even if you do have snippets and so on and so forth.
Yeah, thanks, Christiana. I'm aware. Yeah, thank you. I do. That's one of my day jobs, because I'm involved in global law, so it involves everything. But yeah, no, I'm pretty good, because I'm involved in copyright and trademarking and bits and pieces. But yeah, that is it's a good point to put across, because I do know that Any has some other clients that are very concerned about data privilege.
Yeah.
And so that's very useful for them to know. So thank you so much, Christiana, for pointing that out. I'm just trying to get used to this platform, and I haven't got my captions on, so I'm lip reading Any and everybody else that's speaking currently. So I do apologise.
So, no, you're doing great, Natalie. Of course, you always do great. Look, let me give you the biggest cons about anthologies. And I say for every pro, there's a con the other side of it, right? But here's some of the truths that no one's going to tell you about an anthology. Number one, my friends, it's very hard to sell anthologies. Luckily, I buy into mine, so I do promote mine every day. I'm doing marketing, doing events. Literally, I make sales pretty much every day. That's why I have that background I have. But most of the anthologies, once it's written, no one cares enough to market it. It's something called being nice publishers. Nothing inside cares enough. Don't let your anthology fall into that trap. If you're going to do
that's where the team coordinator could come in, perhaps, because it's another strategy that big publicists use, is having a designated HR person to manage the group dynamics, to massage egos where egos are needed to be massaged, and kick people up the bottom where that's needed, so that the publicist and the writers don't have to stress each other out so much, because they all are learning tools actively whilst they're working. They're all actively learning at the same time to be more cohesive and more coherent and more concise.
Look, it's all right saying let's have a coordinator, but this is someone someone's got to pay them. I'd have to pay someone to do that role, and doesn't make sense. And I guess
there's lots of volunteers on LinkedIn. Everybody's ignoring them. There's lots of absolutely amazing young people that are on LinkedIn that are very, very people dynamic, and they are offering their services for free to people that take notice of them. So you really should keep an eye out on the volunteers, because they're amazing. I use volunteers every so often. I do a lot of volunteering myself, but they are very good at helping with things like that. And all they expect from you is a reference at the end of it for anything that you think they really excelled in. And they just expect the occasional mentorship, whether that's actively, like through attending a podcast of yours, Any, for instance, and getting active mentorship that way, or whether it's one-to-one, dependent on what you're into. But they're out there. You just need to type it into the search engine.
Yeah, if I was looking for one, I would certainly be able to find one on LinkedIn. If you're looking for a volunteer, you feel free, my friend. You want someone to pay to do it, you can do that too. But the point doesn't change. You think your co-authors are going to care about your anthology. What is possible? In the reality, what happens is that your co-authors lose interest as soon as it's published. Once the fun of doing it is over, once they've done their beginning marketing, then they tend to lose interest. So you have to have a strategy to market your book. Whether you're going to do it yourself, or whether you're going to find another way to market the book. I've got a year-long plan for my co-authors for the COVID anthology. And where are we now? I think we're probably 6 months in, but most of them are doing other things. People just go on to their normal lives, so that's the truth. If you want to plug them back into line, then you can do, of course. I wouldn't advise that, because people are committed. Bye, Linda. Say bye, Linda. Of course. Thank you for joining us.
Would you say that it's a spotlight issue? Would you say that perhaps some people don't like to share the spotlight, so that's why they draw back?
No. I don't think it's spotlight. I think it's just people's lives. They go on to the normal lives. Authors have the same problem, right? You publish a book, You have all big plans to market it. But after the initial excitement, Natalie, you've written a book, you published a book, and after the first 3 months of you doing events, talking about doing podcasts, now you can do many more things, right? After 3 months, people tend to go back to normal lives because they're starting to realize the reality, which is that this book is not going to make me rich. And many co-authors and anthologies don't make any money. Yeah, I know what I just said, right? It's very rare. You hear people who pay big money to be in group books. Some with famous people, some with celebrities. But the publisher retains the rights to the books. The publisher retains the royalties. And once people realize that they're not going to be getting rich off the book, naturally they lose interest. They go back to normal life and earn some money.
I wasn't saying any, but there are exceptions to that rule. The publisher can also, at the publisher's discretion, share with the right people long-term royalties, as I discussed with you myself, because I'm a discerning businesswoman and I'm not looking for a quick buck. I'm looking for a passive income because I'm severely disabled. I'm a carer. I'm a grandparent, and I've got godchildren and sisters that when I'm gone, they're all going to need various levels of support and care that I'm not going to be around to provide.
Yeah,
so I've got an investment mind in an anthology. If you're going to go into something like that, because it's a group thing, and an anthology is something that unfolds over time, and most writers, they make more money off of their books decades after they've written them.
Yeah,
and that's writers of singular books or anthologies.
I suppose the thing I would say, Nat, a publisher can decide on how they're going to split their royalties, if at all. Normally, the royalties are split between the co-writers, the organizers, the publisher and the organizer. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm saying what's the word? The process to share, disperse royalties for years. That sounds terrible. It's a painful chore on me, on everyone else, right? Look, in the COVID book, so we agreed to share the royalties based on how much people paid to be in the book. So there was essentially 3 price points: full, medium, and I guess next to free, right? Those who didn't pay anything get nothing from the sales. Those who contributed 100% of the fees get, they're essentially the full share of the sales of the royalties money we make. Those who paid half get half share of the royalties we make. So that's a choice, but I know the process to make that happen. You have to realize now I've got to keep track. I've got to keep that money in a separate account, full stop. Separate bank account, which I'm going to host for how long today, I don't know. I'm saying so, and what do? You will share the money out every 3 months, every year? What? I say my idea is pretty much every 6 months, every year, to actually sit down and we'll call and say, right, here's your share. There you go. But the thought of doing that in 20 years' time, that is a miserable feeling. I know. I'm not going to do it in 20 years' time. So,
I hear you, Minnie. That's why I said at the discretion of the publisher, not necessarily yourself, but other publishers are willing to do that, because obviously there's a lot of equity changes occurring around the globe currently.
Most publishers don't share the money naturally from their anthology. Most 90% don't.
But I think that's also another reason why self-publishing is getting more common, because people are making a lot more money because they basically do all the marketing themselves. They write the book themselves and do basically what you said. They get it out there with errors as well, and just get it out there and get it done. And I've noticed, because I've been doing a lot of due diligence, and I noticed that there's more and more self-published material out there on Amazon, on Audible, all over the place. Google's full of it. But that takes a lot of work. So I think that's where you come in, Annie, is people need to remember that they came to you for the convenience of not having to do all of that due diligence.
Yeah, but 99% of those who self-publish make no money naturally at all. Some sell no books ever. None, zero. You know, you have to be willing to invest in your book to make money. People don't not everyone realize that it's an anthology or sales. It's a solo book. You still got to market the book. If you don't have a plan to market the book, then you're going to lose money, and you're going to make no money at all. Maybe you might make money in 25 years' time, but the truth is, you won't. You know, if you figure Amazon has 1.5 million books a year published on that platform, 1.5 million a year. So where is your book in that number? This year, last year, next year? When we're going to add another 4.5 million books to the bookstores. No one's going to find your book. You know, you have to have a clear plan. This is where the anthology plan and the group marketing and the group publicizing goes a long way.
I agree with you, Annie, but also people need to remember that this is a cooperative. So if they want long-term royalties, they need to be willing to put the money in and the time and the effort long-term, like you pointed out.
I agree with you. You know, if you don't put the money in, then eventually we're going to run out of money. Eventually, the royalties I make is going to be spent on the marketing rather than on giving back to the authors. But
definitely, it's that relationship management too. I think everybody should be responsible for the relationship management in a cooperative, because that's the definition of a cooperative, and an anthology is just a branched off definition of cooperative, I would say, within this context.
Naturally, most people don't get the money, so they have no intention of marketing the book in any way. And they talk to publishers, they'll tell you. There's always a number of people who don't want to take part after the game starts. That's just life. Look, if you're on my YouTube, my friends, please like today's video, comment and subscribe. I see there's 3 people on my YouTube, so that excites me. Thank you so much for joining us.
Everybody, please rest assured that it's quite simple to protect your content and to make money in a sustainable way if you just do your due diligence. There are contracts that you can create. You can do them yourself. There are guidelines online for various law schools that help you to do them, and they can help you to protect yourself and protect your publisher and whoever else you want to protect. And they help you to also protect your long-term investment should you wish to partake in an anthology yourself. So there's always that help out there. You just need to look for it. And I think Annie and Christiana covered some really good topics, and Michael earlier as well.
It is about the agreement. It's about the agreement. You must look at the agreement and make sure the agreement fits your. I'm saying that. I'm just trying to highlight some of the gaps. That's why I call them, the cons, the negatives. Right. Anything you want to say? You seem to unmute.
No. Yeah, I love you. Thank you. No.
Okay, cool. Right.
Thank you.
I guess a couple more points, and I'll let you go, my friends. Look, our family and friends don't necessarily want to buy our anthology, because it's not just you. But no. Look, if we do the work, which we do, on a superficial level, your family and friends want your book. They'll buy your book because it's your book, right? It's a solo book. Whereas now, if you say it's a group book, some people will say, "No, I'm not going to buy it because I don't want to read their stories." But I think, as Global.Media, we do spend a lot of time on the marketing to launch the book and to get people to understand what's how you contribute to the book and why your chapter is more than just a chapter. It's part of the helping people in the world. If that makes sense. But literally, don't be surprised if your family and friends say, I'm not really interested because it's not your book. I'm just giving you the facts. That's one fact. But for everyone I work with, their family and friends buy the book because they want to support them. That takes marketing.
I will back Any up on this. As Any's collaborative business partner here in the UK, I will back him up on this. I've heard from people themselves that have been involved in writing and the various dynamics of writing, that it is challenging. There's lots of dynamics at play, but it's definitely, if you think of an anthology as a long-term investment, when you write an anthology, as long as you invest in the marketing, like Annie said, you be a part of the team, and you attend the meetings, you attend these podcasts, like we're all here now, and you're willing to speak, even if you're not willing to be on camera, but you're willing to speak and share your story and how your process with everybody. The money does come in. It might not come in from the anthology, but you'll get it coming in from public speaking, because you do get requests. Since Any launched me on his Africa Biz last May, I've been getting all kinds of public speaking requests, paid and unpaid. So the money does come in. It doesn't always come from the place that you were hoping it might. So it's definitely worth considering. If you're looking for a passive stream of income, an anthology is definitely recommendable. I would say, and I've taken almost a year for Any to convince to get involved on an anthology. So, but he's right, and I've done my due diligence. And in that way, you have to think about it. It's about reframing your expectations, for sure. I don't know if Any agrees with me. I'd love to hear.
I totally agree with you. Of course, I agree with that. I think there's more than one way to skin a cat. No cats were harmed in the making of this live event. I'm just saying, right? Now the thing is that, look, book sales is one way to make your money. Now stop it, Natalie. And I'm not coming anywhere near Loki. I'm not going to touch him, right?
I think we'll leave my cat out of this, bless him.
And there's more than one way to make your money.
He loves you. You know that Any's a good person. My cat is a very discerning cat. He doesn't go up to anybody. And Any walked into my house, the cat walked up to him straight away. So he's a good person, because my cat doesn't like horrible people. And my dog's him as well.
I got two cats. My cats are lovely. Anyway, look, so book sales is one way to make money from your book, from your chapter. Another way is public speaking, as Natalie just said. You leverage your book, your chapter in a book, to elevate your presence, your authority in your field. Find your voice and start speaking, right? For sure. Some anthology publishers, me included, I think Nicole as well, will let you take your content, so your chapter, and make it into a book by itself. After the event, after we publish our book, our anthology, you can take your chapter and you do as you wish with it. Some publishers take your content and you never have the copyrights. It's not yours, it's theirs, because you sold it to them effectively. Whether they pay you or whether you just agreed, and you're in the agreement that they can have all total copyright, you can't ever publish that story again. Then read your agreement, my friends. Read your agreement. I'm saying, but I'm quite happy to give you your chapter and say, right, there you go, you publish it again if you wish. Now, of course, that goes towards Michael's point earlier, where you can add to it, change it, evolve it if you want to write a bigger book. But most often, Michael, once you give me a content in your anthology, it is my content. You can't use it again. It's a choice I can make as a publisher, but I give you the right to take it back and do as you wish with it. So, but I will say this: you need 24 pages of content to publish a print book on Amazon. 24 pages. So you have to make sure your content expands enough, or you're going to expand it enough. So 24 internal pages, but then look, there's ways to beef up pages in a book, my friends. As a publisher, I will do this every day. That's giving additional pages, writing pages. By the time we add the introduction, there are the foreword, acknowledgements, your author bio. You can see that the pages are mounting, they count the mountain up, right? If it comes to worst case, you can always shrink the size of the book. So a smaller book has more pages, as opposed to a bigger book, which has fewer pages by nature, right? You get me? So these are different things to sort of bear in mind in anthology. There's many good things about anthologies, my friends, many good things. But then there are some drawbacks that you should be aware of. Do you want to get known as the anthology writer? It's a question. I have no answer for this. The choice is yours. Some people are bothered by being called co-authors. Again, I think this is a red herring. If you've written in a book, you're an author. If you ask me, on Amazon, we can list you as an author. I think if in an anthology, we can list 10 people as authors in an anthology on Amazon. That makes you an author in my eyes. Some people argue with you and say, you're only writing a chapter in a book. You're not an author. You're a co-author. Difference, Amazon says you're an author. So that's what that counts. And now I think our strategy going forward is to put every author's name on the cover, on the front cover. That way there's no argument that you're an author. Your name is there, right? Some will argue with you that you don't deserve to be an author, but so leave that to them. But some people are bothered by being called co-authors. I take away the code.
That's why I asked you earlier about the ego coming into play, because that sounds more like it does seem very much like an ego thing.
I agree with you. If your story is out there in a book, you're an author. The people don't like it, then that's their problem. Now, you go and check the definition of author. You find that it is someone who's written their story in a book, right? Your content's in a book, and it's identifiably yours. That makes you an author. The co-author thing, let's argue all day if we want to. It's a waste of time, really. Look, there's many reasons to be an anthology, my friends. Let's go and do them. If you have a story, if you want to have your content written and you want it published, let's talk. Let's publish your story. Don't hold on to it, Nat. Don't hold on to it. No procrastination. Hand it over and say, what will it take to get this published, Ellie? And I'll happily.
You said that the two that I had ready, you said that they were too big. You weren't interested in publishing anything that big. So it was my autobiography. It was my part 1 and part 2 of my autobiography. You said they were too big, so you didn't want to publish them. So I went elsewhere.
How many pages, Natalie? How many pages?
Quite a few, but the other publishers didn't have an issue with that. I think perhaps you as a publisher you've found your own zen. You've found your own zone that you like to work in. So I did approach you. I gave you first refusal, and you said no. Hundreds and hundreds.
1,000 pages. No, I'm never going to publish 1,000-page book.
That was because it was as lovely Michelle Ramos and Michelle also, I'm trying to remember your name. I do apologise, Michelle. It begins with a B.
Michelle B. Michelle Bodenhoff.
Yeah, Michelle B. Yes. She, as they previously pointed out, when you've had quite an extensive life experience condensed into a very short space of time, but people are interested in what you have to say, it's a lot of words because certain experiences are very, very sensitive. So you have to be very careful about how you approach them, because there's a lot of people that are liable should what you say harm someone, even if it was indirectly.
You never need 1,000-page book. The Coach David. So we'll talk about his book later tonight, and that's 360 pages long. 360. and one's 400 pages long. I didn't publish them. I'm just doing the bestseller for him, right? I'm saying, right, those are big books. 1,000 pages is ridiculous. That's like the Bible. No one's going to read it. I'm not going to publish a Bible. No one's going to read. However good it may be.
So before they've been condensed, so it's 1,000 pages uncondensed. Once that the publishers do their thing, that once it's condensed, it's not 1,000 pages because it will be a big book, but it's not going to be 1,000 pages. Because they changed the formats as you said in your previous shows. So you are kind of overemphasizing here, Ennie. Come on, I know you're a marketer, but that's a little bit much.
97 pages is still 1,000 pages. I don't want to publish a book that big. No one's going to read it. I say again. I want to publish books that people are going to read. So I'd rather you split that book up into 3, into 4. And then we'll publish it, but you weren't willing to do that, so I'm all right with it.
I have had 30 people read it already, and I've had really great feedback. But they, admittedly, they are people that are more on my wavelength. They're quite, they're very much bookworms, and they can speed read through quite a lot of material and take that material in quite rapidly.
1,000 pages is too long, Natalie. However you put it, however you break it down, 1,000 pages is way too long. Look, some books I just have to say no, I'm not publishing that.
No, I hear what you're saying. But a short read for me is 700 pages. So that's a short read for me. So that's what I'm saying. It's about different people have different ideas about what is a good read or not. And some people prefer descriptive, highly descriptive reads, especially if you have impairments, for instance.
Many do not. That's a problem. That many do not want big reads. They want short reads, 70 pages, 80 pages, 100 pages max. So, no, people can handle 150 pages. I
hear what you're saying, Ennie, but that's why I said I went elsewhere for those. But I gave you first refusal because. We're friends and we're collaborative business partners, and you helped launch me on my podcast, and you've been marketing me as well as I've been marketing you, and so it wouldn't make sense not to come to you, Ennie, the godfather of LinkedIn audio, with first refusal, because they are highly, as Michelle Ramos and Michelle B pointed out, there's actually a growing market for quite intense reads, and intense reads mean that it's usually a bigger kind of book. It's not something you can just condense down into a short read because there's more to it than that.
Again, okay, so let's bring it back to our conversation today. Michael, I saw you try to speak earlier. I don't know where you still there. We'll bring it back to our conversation today, Nat. Here's the point I would make. Look into how big the anthology will be. So if it's a huge book, hundreds of pages, then chances are you're going to get, 1 page, because most people want to keep their books down. So the more authors there are, then the more limited your word count will be. If they allow you to print, freestyle and without limits, the chances of people you reading your content in that book is very little. Sorry about that. That's just fact, right?
No, Ennie, I hear what you're saying. I'm just trying to look at it from all angles, because you're obviously the people that perhaps you have mentioned without mentioning. They're not on stage as far as I'm aware. So I wanted to look at it from their perspectives too, just so that we were covering our angles, So I hear what you're saying. I wouldn't have agreed to be involved with the anthology at all if I didn't agree somewhat with what you're saying. And I'm new to adult published anthologies, as you know. Childhood published anthologies, I'm not new to. But I was a child then, and the adults did all of the stuff you talk about, the technical stuff. They dealt with all of that. I just had to write, and they just left me to it. And as a child, you don't have to do things. You don't have other things to do. So it's different.
I think that's a good point to leave our conversation today.
Yeah, this is new to me, Ennie. So I'm learning just as much as everybody in the studio, like everybody that's out of the studio, because I'm new to anthologies, and that's why I'm partnering with you, because I have that faith in you that you will bring fruit to bear.
If you're writing an anthology, right? I guess look at how big the book will be, and be prepared for, a harsh edit. Because the publishers and the editors, we want shorter, not longer. Depending, as long as you meet the word counts that we give you, the word now, the way we assign the book to each author, then fine. But expect us to be harsh with our edits. You might think that bit is so important, and we just think, doesn't make sense, unnecessary, and can't cut it. And that's what we as a publishers and the organizers have a right to do with an anthology. Not everything you want in a book is going to go in a book, always.
So would you say to the prospective writers out there, to go back to their school years and remember the instruction of their teachers when they had to write an essay, because you had that word count parameter there? And see, I enjoyed those kinds of things, but not everybody's into that.
Right.
So that they have to try to get back into that mindset so that they can get through that process.
Yeah, look, look, keep to the rules in the agreement is what I'll say to you. If there's word count, then keep to there's word limit. I mean, look, it's equally annoying to me when there's 3,000 word count, for example, and someone writes 1,300. It makes the book feel odd if it's unbalanced, and that just jars my brain. And I don't know. No, it's not. There's no easy solution to it, because the person paid their money, and that's what they want to give you. What do you do? It's a pain in the behind. So keep know what you're signing up for and keep to the terms and agreements. That's what I'll say to you. But start with choosing a great topic that people are actually interested in. That's actually going to help people.
Yes, and attend events like this one and Whisper Boys, like Spotlight, and Paulette's events, and Islam, and Melissa Houston and Felipe. There's so many others, because they give you very useful social interaction and professional interaction tips, because you'd be amazed how every single human being on this planet sometimes forgets how to interact, whether it's socially or professionally, and that would help streamline your process throughout your life if you continually work on yourself whilst you're working on your projects, because it's when you stop working on yourself that things go wrong.
Talk to other authors, and I said most of my events involve an author. Most of my friends are authors. Most of my in that audience are authors. Now, talk to people at my events. So in my show later with Coach David, we're working towards launching his books. So obviously he's an author himself as well. And I say, Natalie and Michael are going to join the Authors Club, and we'll get this health anthology written.
Could you specify what time that event is, please, and the title of it, so anyone that hasn't got it, they can look it up? And also, will you specify when Cyrus has his spotlight, so that anyone here can attend that too, should they wish to, if they would like useful tips like they've got today?
Right. So now my event with Coach David is at 9 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, tonight, Friday. And Cyrus's shows, I don't know. You're gonna have to go now. Natalie, I'm sure you can put it in the comments if you find out when the next one is. Now, my shows with him were on a Sunday at 10 o'clock at night, GMT. I don't know if they're still the same, and I know he's doing more of his wines podcast these days. So I don't know if they're still doing podcasts in the same way. So I'm really trying to help. Right.
Okay, no, thank you, Annie. It's just so that anyone in the chat that might be new can check you all out, because you are amazing mentors to hundreds of people on LinkedIn, and I don't think you let people know that enough, Annie.
You're too kind with your words, Nat. But you're part of that now. You're part there. You always were.
We're both a pain in the bottom. Don't get me wrong. The pair of us, we're very specific people. Both of us, and being around people like us can be quite tough for other people that aren't so specific and are a bit less analytical than we are.
But
I've even named the cheeks of my bums. The left one is Natalie, the right one is Annie.
Go on, Michael. What do you say? I missed what you said.
I was just making a joke. I was saying that I have a left and right cheek, right? and my right chick is Annie, and my left chick is Natalie. My bottoms.
That's
Both
very,
of them are pink.
that's Michael being funny. That's what I can
Bless you. Yeah, I and Annie are very hard to reach. Annie is a multidisciplinarian as well. So the pair of us are very hard to reach. And poor Michael gets stuck in the middle of that. So I appreciate you, Michael. I do appreciate you. And don't worry, I will see you at midnight. You are in my calendar. I will be at that Zoom call. So we will
Okay.
catch up. Okay.
Fantastic.
awesome.
And let me
Mr.
just
Meets I meant to
suggest.
be at, or I'm not
No,
invited.
I just publicly proclaimed that, so you can hold that. You can hold me to that, Michael. And if I let you down, I will not knock you for telling everybody that I flaked out. Okay, so I will be there. Okay, like
Mr.
with bells on, I will make sure I don't fall asleep. I am
Mr.
becoming.
now, you
Which
both
night
know
is
that
that?
I'm not that kind of person.
Am I invited or I'm not? I'm not required.
Not
Any,
required.
you're more than welcome if you want. If you want to come, you can come. You're more than welcome. It's just because midnight obviously is not midnight for Michael. It is for us.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not invited. That's all right.
You're gonna be asleep. Wait, you're up at night, aren't you? Right? Daytime you sleep. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
can come
it's
along.
fine. I'm not invited. It's all right. Look, my friends in the audience. John is going to 2 weeks' time. Let's talk about another book.
It's a professional thing about the writing as well. That's why we're going to be having the calls because Michael and I keep missing each other. So we're going to be talking about the anthology and stuff. So that if you want to come, like I said, you're more than welcome to come. It's just that it's the first meeting that we could get penciled in.
Nah, I'll call you.
I thought that you might be busy with Lisa or somebody else because you do a lot of events. You're a busy man.
Once our agreement is sorted, and that's what I want to meet with the co-authors and talk about it, and agree, and then I've got Jonah's content already, so that cheers me up. So in
Anthology too, Annie.
Pardon?
Is Joni on this anthology too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you need to tell us these things. See, people, you heard it here. I didn't know. I'm on the group, but I wasn't informed about any of this. See, it's the writers and the publishers. It's never one way. It's always both ways. Everyone coordinates.
Working out the agreement and then working out who meets the criteria and who's willing to, I guess, pay to be in the book. That's what it comes down to. And do the work. That's what it comes down to. And I've got more than 10 people ready for the book, so I'm not concerned. Again, I think in anthologies, I'll say this: if you can get 5 committed people, then you have, then you really started. Until you get 5 people signed up and paying and happy to commit, then you're still wishing, and it can be hard work. Whereas, if you can get 5 nailed down on paper, then you're almost come hell or high water. Your book's going to get published, right? And
I've been taking the advice, Annie. I've been culling what I've been writing, because obviously there's a remit with the anthology, and you know that I write too much. So I've been culling before I bring anything to you. I've been culling it to make sure, and I've been changing words around. But I'm also trying to make sure that the words are accessible, because that's the issue that I have. Is I can't use all of the words that I would like to use because they're not accessible to everybody. Not everybody understands the words that I would use to shorten a sentence. And therein lies the problem for me.
That's called writing, but we'll find a way in editing to find a language that's accessible to more people. That's the best we can do, right? We can't. I don't like changing people's tone, people's words.
The lessons that we learned from COVID. I've read it now, Annie. I read it. I finally got to read it. It's just I didn't want to say anything publicly until I'd read it. I found it was very wide ranging.
Mm-hmm.
I think in some instances, perhaps some people got a little bit sidelined with the point of the book with regards to lessons we learned from COVID, but those sidelines were actually very interesting because that's life, isn't it? COVID was happening, but so was real life too, as you pointed out. So we got to learn more about those particular people in that particular part of the world, for instance, where we wouldn't usually hear about that. So I actually really liked that. And also the way that everybody wrote was extremely different. And we also got to learn so much more about you, Annie, that we wouldn't have learned if we hadn't have read the book.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I actually really liked it, and I will be posting a review as soon as you send me the links to point me in the right direction where you want the review.
Amazon had put in a review on Amazon. I mean, you got your order history, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to be getting you more next week for NMRT Solutions Global Educational Resource Drive as well, because you've kindly offered to, give me at a lower cost for this not-for-profit initiative to get educational resources all around the world for people that are underserved, haven't you, Annie? See, all of these things that he's not telling you, and he should be telling you, because this is a good way for you to see who you're getting into business with when you decide to go on to an anthology or perhaps have any publish you. It's good to know who you're in business with, and it would be nice to hear more people share all of the different activities that Annie does in the background. Because I know there's lots of other people out there, Annie, that are more aware of things you've been doing, because I only met you last year and I know about all these things already.
You need to do
so definitely do your homework, people. Please check out Annie's activities, and if he hasn't mentioned something on his profile, it doesn't mean he doesn't know about it and he hasn't done it. Ask him, message him, inbox him.
Naturally, do your events, and then you tell them what the projects you're working on and that we're contributing to. That's the answer. It's not for me to tell everyone. I can't tell everyone everything I'm doing.
But Eddie, you what was the first thing you said to me? You need to learn to market yourself more, Natalie. And as a mentor, you need to learn to take your own advice.
You think I really want to tell them to come and buy my book at author price? No, of course not. Natalie, seriously.
No, but you're doing that to benefit underserved people around the world. I'm going to be showing you receipts. It's all very legitimate. I've already set up the GoFundMe website. All of the stakeholders that have already invested. That's why I mentioned it, because you're already investing. Paulette's invested already.
I don't want anyone else to know that they can buy off the book. So we need to buy the full price.
No. What I'm saying is that people need to know about all of the different activities you're involved in, Annie.
That's up to me.
I'm getting you back. I told you I would.
On my YouTube, please like, engage, and comment on today's video, and subscribe to my channel. And do come back. And I say thank you so much.
I am also buying a hard copy at full price for myself, by the way, everybody. And I have had other people purchase Annie's book, and I haven't had to twist their arm to do it either. They took me on my word, and it is a very interesting book because all of the authors in it have a lot of value to offer in their own way and collectively. So I definitely, if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend that you read it. And if you want to know more about Annie, you definitely need to read the book, because that book could tell you more than what Annie could say on stage himself. Because like me, Annie is actually an introvert, not an extrovert. So the fact that he's even on this screen and he didn't stay off screen every time he's tried to walk off of screen says a lot. So I do appreciate everyone here, and yes, definitely keep track of Annie. He's definitely a person you need to keep an eye on if you would like to enhance the growth of your business. He's a fantastic marketer, and if you would like to write about your business, definitely talk to Annie. He's very accommodating, provided, like he said, you are invested in yourself as much as you're expecting him to invest in you too.
In that truth, I'm gonna do as much as you have to do. Look, my friends, enjoy your day. My phone's ringing. I'm up on the show. So take care, everyone. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate your endorsement. It means a lot to me, really. Michael, I'll say
Bye
goodbye.
bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye bye,
everyone. Bye,
Annie.
everyone.
Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. Achieve success with Global.Media.